What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Backliners podcast. That was a little, I was almost infringing on Dry Bear's rights there on his intellectual property with that intro, but I didn't. It's aggro and it's Barracuda, as per usual. And as per usual, my brain is not functioning whatsoever.
Really?
I had a really good epiphany today, though, Barry.
Mm-hmm.
It's that when I have particularly bad allergies. I always have. And when I have my really bad allergy days where I'm unbelievably congested from the second I wake up until I fall asleep, and I'm literally mouth breathing all day long, and I can't breathe, my brain just does not work right. And I really think my new theory is that it's because of a lack of oxygen to my brain. Because I'm not breathing well, that my brain function is legitimately worse because I'm not getting any oxygen to my brain. So that's my theory as to whatever is about to happen on this podcast.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. Because the same thing happens to me. I'm like, man, I can't think straight today. And I also can't breathe today. And then I take a really deep breath and realize that my nose is just clogged completely on one side and like 50% on the other side.
Yeah.
And so it's just not a fun time breathing.
No. I apologize in advance for any sniffling or whatever, sneezing if I can't mute my mic in time. All that good stuff that you guys are going to hear on the podcast today. But got some good stuff for our good old
patch notes
podcast day. We got some patch note stuff to go over because last time we just talked about eShell. She did release today, was watching some people play her. She was looking really cool, really fun. Definitely not OP or underpowered in any way. Actually perfect. We nailed it. No, but that's okay.
Is she OP?
I don't know. I legitimately don't know.
Okay.
I think the majority of feedback I've heard so far is that people think that she is closer to OP than not, but that she definitely has a fairly clear weakness of people, diving her. I think that is kind of like saying just CC them, like every mage is weak to dive. Some more so than others.
Walls, right?
Yeah, she does everything over walls. But we shall wait and see. People seem to be having fun, though, and enjoying her, and that's the most important thing. So we'll take care of whatever we have to take care of later on. But with the big patch notes, and we didn't get a chance to talk about any of the balance or anything like that, figured it was worth us doing a quick little coverage of the 10.4 patch notes, and then we'll talk about SPL because week 1 of the regular season is coming up this weekend. It sure is. I hope you're ready.
What?
It's gonna be fun, right? We're excited. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I am genuinely excited because it's been forever since we played SPL, and that weekend tournament.
Okay, I'm muting my mic for the podcast, but Barrett has to hear me full volume, just absolutely ripping sniffs, so just like so gross. It's so bad. Lord. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, because I'm muting. I'm trying to get it real. I'm trying to really get it there. Do you think that people want to hear it so they can hear what you just heard? Do you think I should just? I don't think I want to do that. They should turn their mics down. Yeah.
He's trying to suck in all the oxygen in his room right there.
And how much do you think I got in? Maybe 1 molecule
2%?
Worth of oxygen. One single oxygen molecule. It is that bad for me right now. I'm sorry, Barry.
Awful.
I'll try and mute myself for you as well.
I was just laughing. I thought the stream was hearing it too, so I was like, this guy's really sniffling in the middle of my.
Well, I was like. It is like interrupting someone. It's so obnoxious, and it's so loud. I was like, "Why did Barra laugh?" And then I realized that you got a full helping.
So loud.
Yeah. Okay. My apologies. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I am excited for SPL this weekend. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the tournament before. We weren't really prepared for the tournament before. We kind of played really poorly. Lately, our scrims have been going a lot better, thankfully. I think we have a lot more cohesion. We have a lot more of an identity of what we want to do and how we want to draft. Whereas before, it was just kind of like, well, we're gonna pick these gods and hopefully they work well together. And our comms were really messy around certain parts,
Sure.
and we weren't having great decision making either. But lately, we've been playing pretty good in scrims. Definitely still have a few scrim plays and a few mistakes here and there, but definitely cleaning up a lot. So I'm really happy with how the team is progressing. And I'm not sure if other teams are just, I don't know. Other teams seem worse than they should be, I think.
Interesting. Well, we'll see if that ends up coming to pass.
Yeah, funnily enough,
weekend.
I couldn't say it before last tournament, but Warriors were like actually the best team that we had scrimmed going into the last tournament.
We said on the podcast this was their time. You know, that team has the potential to like be successful right now, and they certainly were.
Kind of unlucky we played them first round. I'm pretty sure we were better than a lot of the teams at that event, even before. And unfortunately, just playing the best team, in my opinion, first round was kind of unlucky. So hopefully we get to show off something this weekend. That'd be cool.
We'll talk about your matchup with the Leviathans and the Hounds in a little bit. But going to the 10.4 patch notes, probably the biggest headline, so to speak, would be the penetration nerfs. So the cap going from 40% to 32%, and penetration items going from either 10 or 20 for tier 3 items to 8 or 16 respectively.
Question.
Yeah.
There's a few items that didn't get nerfed. Are those intentional or
which ones?
I know Demon Blade and Diamond Arrow didn't get nerfed.
Demon Blade is just, I know for a fact Demon Blade is just a text.
Oh, okay.
Was just a text bug.
I just read it. Demon Blade passive.
Yeah, it is definitely in there. Diamond Arrow, I think might be the same thing.
Okay.
But if it is not, I'm not as sure on that one. And
yeah, I'm not Flarebird, so I don't know the difference.
Yeah, I assume we would address that if it's the case.
Yeah.
What were your immediate thoughts, maybe, and then now that you've had a chance to play on this patch for a little bit now due to scrimming on PTS and all that kind of stuff, like, what are your impressions on how this changes the game?
Funnily enough, we didn't scrim at all on PTS. I don't think any teams wanted to scrim on PTS, or it was down when we tried. So kind of unlucker Doug.
Unlucker Douglas indeed.
But my immediate thoughts was it's kind of necessary, because I think carries were really strong, like mid and ADC were really strong, and tanks. I think the role of a tank is kind of in a weird spot right now versus earlier in the year when they were like super OP with Sundering. And now I think their identity has kind of shifted a bit. Obviously, I still think there's a few tanks that are really strong right now, but
sure.
I think we talked. I don't know if I talked about it with you or Dolson, but I just think sometimes the identity of a tank is a little confusing right now.
Sure.
So these changes, in my opinion, help the noobs a lot as well. Just, I assume that noobs are like, oh, I just get 3-shot by ADCs late game. There's something I can do. So on paper, this should make noobs feel a lot better, I think.
That is the hope. I think we experienced something similar. Was it last year or 2 years ago where there was a patch cycle where we didn't have a bonus balance? I think it was 2 years ago, and community sentiment was pretty intense immediately following not having that extra balance 2 weeks through patch cycle, and it was similar here. And community sentiment is pretty whipped up right now, I would say, and so this is something that, like I said on the patch notes, and like I said, I'm sure last week on the podcast, like, this is certainly not, nice, we've done it, we're done, it's, it's all good to go. But I do think that this is a healthy step in the right direction for the game, for both frontline and backline. The burstiness of the game did is certainly something that we know the community is focused on and that we are focused on. And I do think that the amount of change that this will... There have just been so many changes to the game in such a short amount of time that it is hard to kind of let them all settle before realizing exactly what is going to end up being like the best thing to be doing. So I'm very curious to see how this continues to impact the game. We're a day into this patch. I think it's going to continue to be pretty impactful for the rest of the year, until something gets changed in the far future. If it gets changed again, like percent pen systems changing in a way is very important. And I've seen a lot of people kind of talking about the old system of like, oh, just Obshard, just Titan's Bane, like those are your pen options. No percent pen across other items, just this kind of one-stop shop. And I do think, just from my personal opinion, not reflecting that of the design team necessarily, that is not the correct solution in my mind.
Yeah.
It was so... I wonder if a lot of those players, how many of those people who were advocating for that like played back in the day, were high level back in the day, but it was so binary on... I do nothing to tanks, and now they do, and now they have no defense against me.
I think it's just a symptom of grass is always greener on the other side.
Sure.
And people always remember things better than they actually were, in my opinion.
Sure.
And so I think the current way of penetration is better and healthier for the game overall, just having penetration on more items. Maybe people think it's like a band-aid fix, but I don't think it's a band-aid fix.
Yeah.
I just think it's better design overall to have more penetration options than, I go Executioner every game. Like,
yes.
I feel like that's... Or Executioner or Titan's Bane every game. I feel like that's just unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly want to... I know there is a complaint right now. There's too much percent pen, that every item has it, whatever. I don't view that as a huge issue personally, because I think, like you said, Barra, like you want it to be pretty flexible. You want to have options.
Yeah, that just helps build diversity.
Yeah, like you kind of have to choose between, do you want build diversity or do you want, more niche items? Like, do you want more focused items or do you want build diversity? Because those two things do conflict, right? Like, there's a lot of talk about the attacks or the crit build and how it shouldn't have any attack speed, or very minimal attack speed. And the reality is, in my opinion, if the crit build had no attack speed, it wouldn't get built. Like in today's Smite, that's just not really how it works. Like we can introduce very, very strong, very, very niche items, and they don't get bought. They need to be at least somewhat applicable to a multitude of gods, to a multitude of different options, or else it just gets lost in what, we've talked about this before, like new items have to really make a big splash in order to knock an existing item out of a player's build. These very powerful but very niche things just end up being a little bit too frustrating, and items that, like, let's look at it this way. If we introduce an item for hunters that was very high power, let's say it was like 80 power, and it was 80 power and a passive and nothing else, no other stats, and it was a passive you like kind of liked but not really, we would get, that doesn't really fit in my build anywhere. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's good, but like it doesn't fit in my build. Yeah, someone in chat brought up Dominance. Dominance is a good example. Dominance was objectively a very good item before it got attack speed. Like, as terms of what it gave you, it was undeniably strong. But Barra, why did no one build it? Didn't fit in the build. Item. Didn't fit in the build, you know? Just didn't give me everything. It gave me so much of what I wanted, but not everything. And so it went from 0 purchase rate to a lot of purchase rate right away. And that is just, you know, I would love to make niche items that don't have a lot of stats that get built and are popular, but I can list a million examples where that just doesn't really happen, you know?
Also, I feel like ADC is kind of in a healthy spot right now. I feel like there is a lot of build diversity in ADC. Granted, most of them are crit builds, but the direction and the starter of crit builds is different. I mean, I do think Bloodforge is still probably overstated for sure.
Sure.
And maybe a few crit items need slight nerfs, but I mean, it's just like, do you want ADCs to be able to kill objectives? Do you not want ADCs to be able to kill objectives? And with the Bluestone changes, the ability hunters can't really kill objectives now.
Right.
So it's kind of in a weird spot of like, you're either forcing a yellow damage build or you can still build crit. And maybe there's a happier medium right now. Like maybe if Oboe was buffed, or I don't want to say Kin Size is buffed because Kin Size is already a crazy good item in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe it's just Oboe for the yellow damage builds that needs a slight buff. But I know tanks probably don't enjoy getting Oboed, and backliners definitely don't.
I hate getting Oboed. Oboe is one of my favorite items to build and one of my least favorite items to play against, personally.
Yeah, because especially if you're against a full attack speed hunter and that thing is just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, and it probably makes the game maybe slightly more readable for a frontliner because you know how much damage you're going to be taking. But
yeah,
I mean, if you get sundered with a yellow damage build or like Kepritude with a yellow damage build, like you're still probably going to die pretty quickly as a frontliner now.
Oh, for sure.
So, I just think it's really hard to. I mean, we've gone over this several times, but I just feel like it's really hard to please everyone right now. Sure. While maintaining build diversity.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not here to complain or anything like that. I'm just here to, talk about it.
Say,
Go ahead.
Silver Branch is dead. Sure. That item is dead.
Fair enough. Don't be building any Silver Branch. That's the move right there.
That whole bow tree actually is just dead right now.
Okay, I shouldn't get distracted, but I'm letting it happen anyway. Someone in chat said they'd rather be oboed than crit. And that is just an interesting thought to me because I think that is not an uncommon sentiment. I don't think that person is alone. But it does feel different to me. The reason that I think that Oboe is not very fun to play against because I think it breaks the mold of what your archetype is supposed to do. Hunters are supposed to be single target DPS. Oboe makes you AoE. That's my biggest gripe with it. I don't really understand what is different. I do feel like that there is like some type of there's just something visceral about if a full pen hunter without crit did 450 damage to you with a basic attack, and a crit hunter did 450 damage to you with a crit basic, I do think that players get more upset with getting crit than getting hit with the other basic. And I don't really understand why that is such a big difference to them. Do you have any thought on that?
I got no idea.
Yeah, fair enough.
I genuinely have no idea.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do feel like it's more fair for some reason. But that is the point of the build, right? Is that it is supposed to do more damage and it's supposed to scale and you are supposed to get crit a lot late game, right? Like that is the point of hunters. Yeah, look at League. Every single marksman item in League has crit. Mm-hmm. All of them. They all crit. You can go like more ability based builds on certain champs, whatever. That I don't think that's a super honest way to discuss like how their true ADCs play versus how our true ADCs play. They all have crit. And so by the time you get to late game, it's just 100% crit all the time, and they can't miss, which is a huge difference, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The system is now weighted against you or against low crit percentage. 20% is not a true 20%. It's less than that of your first few autos. Like that, I feel like that's. I don't know. I don't really understand it.
I mean, maybe the problem is that yellow damage builds should, in theory, feel like they're hitting tanks harder than crit builds, I think is what a lot of people have issues with, but crit seems to be kind of the catch-all right now, where you can kill objectives, you can kill people, you can one-shot assassins, you can one-shot anyone in front of you.
Sure.
Or not really one-shot, but obviously you need a few auto attacks, according to me.
Sure.
Not the tanks that I'm hitting them. They're getting absolutely one-shot, quote-unquote.
Right, of course.
By one auto attack. And
yes.
There's nothing they could have done differently.
Nope.
I think maybe it's just people feel like it is like I said, a catch-all build that kind of covers all of your bases, because Boomerang isn't a good... I don't personally love Boomerang,
He's
but...
back. You lagged for a second there. I thought you were out. Yeah, but you're back. It was only for a second.
Nice. Yeah, Comcast has been doing this to me lately. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Boomerang's in a good spot, and I feel like it's just maybe a combination of Bloodforge and Boomerang right now that a lot of people have issues with, because the curve doesn't really feel that weak initially when you go crit.
Sure.
Because Boomerang kind of covers all your bases, so
yep.
You kind of have like an accelerated path upwards when you go the current build, and it doesn't really feel like you need penetration. You have a decent amount of attack speed, so maybe that's what people are complaining about, but I've been experimenting with a few other builds that feel okay with Kins and with XC and crit still. But maybe that is the issue, where people feel like yellow damage builds should do more damage to tanks, and crit builds should do less damage to tanks, more damage to squishies.
Yeah, I do think that's it. I do think that is the idea that has been implanted in people's brains that I just fundamentally disagree with. Like, I don't think...
That's fair, yeah.
It doesn't need to be that way. The way I view it, again, my personal opinion, not representative of the entire design team. Hunters are there. They are there to end the game. I don't care how they kill tanks and squishies late game, but they are supposed to do it. That is intent, right? They are supposed to kill whoever's in front of them. In an ideal situation, 6 items versus 6 items, everyone hits everything and relics perfectly. Hunters should win the vast majority of their 1v1s in the late game at 6 items. That is the point of their class. If they don't do that, they don't have value. I personally do not think there is a big trade-off or a big win or a big, interesting design point we're missing out on if they don't kill, if they have to choose between killing either class really dramatically. If one build is slightly better at killing tanks and one build is slightly better at killing squishies, great. That is cool, and that is an interesting design space, and that is what I would like to achieve. If they kill both, but they need to be able to kill both, right? Like, that is their point. They are the clock. Like, they are there to end the game. How many games where it's a Freya ADC and a mage in SPL, and they're winning all game, they're crushing it, they're owning, they get to Phoenix Siege, they can't end, and the game goes 48 minutes. That's because they don't have the class that is designed to end the game. So, for me personally, I just am a little surprised that this late into the, this many years into Smite, that I feel like it's this season 1, season 2 idea of unicorn build versus crit, and when things were really separate. And the game is just so different in every single way from how it was back then that we don't need to be beholden to these archetypes now. Thinking about it holistically and not thinking about it through the lens of season 1, season 2 Smite, I don't think that it's an issue for tanks to die to crit. Should they have better options? Should crit be worse? Those are all incredibly valid opinions and discussions that are worth having. But I do think that, because crit just gets so much... The two things that really get people riled up are crit and burst mages. Like, those two things really do not feel good to get beat by. And so they end up getting a lot of community momentum very quickly. And I understand that. And, you know, am not trying to dismiss it. But, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's like an interesting holdover from years and years and years ago that I feel like it is just, like, continued to grow instead of change over time, like a lot of other opinions. Because I do think the community has moved and adapted and grown on a lot of very, very complex topics that they used to be very against, that they are very open to now in a way that other game communities are not. So I guess that's like why I'm surprised that this one is such a sticking point, you know?
I think it's really what you touched on earlier, where getting crit mentally feels so bad. And you said it directly right next to each other there, where it's crit and burst mages, which are both very quick ways to die.
Sure.
And I feel like in Smite, probably just dying really quick. I mean, granted, I have watched not a fair bit of League, but I've seen a lot of situations where people are literally dead in less than a second.
Anyone who tells you that Smite is burstier than League is being dishonest with you. The game is much slower in League, but if they get to full build, it is much, 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 much burstier, and it is much harder to play around because so much of that burst is point and click. Like it can't be missed, and you don't have beads. It is not. It is definitely. It is much more bursty in the late game in League, for sure.
Yeah, you just die instantly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it... I mean, I assume that mentally it feels bad in League, too. Just based off, like, the top-down camera versus third-person camera, I assume they both feel equally as bad, but maybe not. Maybe it just feels worse. I don't know if it... I don't know. Maybe it does feel worse in Smite, because you feel like you're the character. Or not feel like you're the character, but you have a closer view of everything going on.
I think that every fraction of second kind of makes it feel worse when you get like one shot, right?
Yeah.
And there are things that will legitimately 100 to 0 you in like 0.2 in League in the late game. And when we're being realistic, that doesn't quite like, even when the meta is very bursty, and I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to diminish, but if you get Scylla root poly autoed 2'd, that is one-shotting someone, but it isn't one shot. You know, that's 3 instances of damage that all happen very quickly, but it isn't, you know, there is a more reactable window there that I think you can experience in a game like League. But, you know, it's not the same. People are here to play Smite. They're not here to play League. And I think, you know, hopefully we went on kind of a tangent here, but hopefully the penetration changes end up impacting that feeling. And if not, then we will continue to work on it. That is the plan. Bera is definitely lagged out. I've been abandoned on a day where my allergies are bad and my brain isn't working because I'm not getting enough brain oxygen. This is what I'm dealing with. And Bera's abandoned me. I'm going to have to work on forgiving him on my own time, I think. But this is a more flattering picture of him than the last time he lagged out. I wonder if his power flickered again or whatever has happened last week. So welcome to the Backliners with just aggro until Barry gets back. I suppose I could take this time to tell you all a little bit about powering up for springtime with Factor meals. Oh, there he goes. Unlucky. Well, wait, maybe I think he came back not too long after he did this last time where the camera canceled out. But, you know, I'm gonna let you know about powering up for springtime with Factor. I'm sorry to tease you and then not get right into it. America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit is Factor Meals. You can get nutritious, chef-prepared meals delivered straight to your door, leaving you time and energy to tackle everything on your to-do list. This is legitimately a true story that I'm about to tell you. I was in the grocery store this weekend, getting things for dinners and lunches this week, and I was like, it is so annoying to have to think about what I want to eat for lunch that is not going to take me a ton of time to clean afterwards, not going to take me a ton of time to cook, that is going to be good for me and not bad for me. Like, so many lunch things are so terrible for you because they know that convenience is key. I was like, man, this is such a pain. I don't want to have to do this. And then it hit me. I was going to make a joke about getting hit by a grocery cart, but then it was going to devolve really quickly. And I don't have Barra to rein me back in, so that's what's going to happen. Okay, chat is accusing me of having a lot of true stories that coincidentally relate to sponsors that week. It is legitimately true that I had this thought in the grocery store this weekend, and I was thinking, I got to get back on my Factor meals, okay? I respect the call out, but it isn't true this time. Factor meals is legitimately delicious and better for you. And Barracuda is back, and it was brought back by the power of Factor meals. Even though his camera is not back, he has returned. Barra, if you just flicker the camera option, I think that might get you back to us. There it is. Welcome back, Barra. We were just talking about Factor meals and how they have a ton of great options, like keto and vegan and veggie and calorie smart and protein plus, and how awesome. If your power went out, you would be depressed because you wouldn't be able to take the just 2 minutes it takes to heat up your Factor meals.
Just heat them up over the fireplace.
That is probably true, I guess. I don't know.
See?
Why not?
You gotta think on your feet. We got a generator out there in case anything gets hairy. We can just throw it over the fireplace that we kind of have, but we don't really have. We also have a gas stove, so we could cook it on that too. Anyway, you can cook meals. You can do it with Factor. There you go.
That's true. We have a fireplace. We have never once lit a fire in there in over a year that we've had. But if our power went out and I had some Factor, that would be the first thing I would do because it'd be nice and easy. And as they said, as the prediction guy said in chat, the more Factor you purchase, the better Barra's connection becomes. And Lord knows he needs it because that's back to back.
Somehow we lost power in the whole house. That's
cool. That's really fun.
Can't blame Comcast for this one.
Yep. Comcast is like, we're innocent. This time, get us when it's our fault. Look, Factor has 34 chef-prepared meals. I already went through a lot of the spiel when Barra wasn't here. So, head to factormeals.com/backliners50 and use code backliners50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code backliners50 at factormeals.com/backliners50 to get 50% off your first box. Big shout out to Factor Meals for sponsoring today's episode. Okay, let's oh wait, we're already at 8:36. Sheesh, we don't got a lot of time. I did want to talk. There were, some buffs, some nerfs, all that kind of good stuff. 2 buffs that I'm interested in seeing how these gods play out are Serket and Giannis. These new ultimates
I'm
with
excited about one of these
passive components. Which one are you not excited about, Bear? Is it the one that auto locks to you or the one that auto locks to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the one that auto locks to me.
Just the Giannis one then. Well,
yeah, just Giannis.
Don't worry, it's less percent pen than he used to be able to build, at least.
Perfect.
So yeah, Serket and Giannis now have passive components on their ultimates where they each gain stats. This is not only when using their ultimate. I've seen some confusion on that. It is just they have the stat. That is it. You put a point in the ultimate, whatever rank it is, your character has that stat permanently now. Serket gains crit chance per rank. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30%. What, for me personally, I guess, to kick it off kind of like, I am very excited about this type of change to gods that, I don't think that every god should get this sort of thing. I don't want to see a bunch of tweets about like, hey, I love to play Hades and he should get CDR per ult rank. Like, this is for these gods that are specifically struggling in large part due to how stat hungry their builds are and what they require in order to be able to do what they want to do. I've also, before I go into more specifics, how do you feel like these are the types of changes that get me really excited to play a god again. How do you feel about this type of change?
Well, as someone who got crit by a level 6 Surcat today, it was fun.
God. Great, Barra. Great.
Really didn't
Thanks,
expect
man.
to get crit by a level 6 Surcat, but I did, and it was a great time. And then I was like, oh yeah, this guy gets passive crit chance, so that was new. That was interesting.
That is
that was
exceptionally unlucky for you because again, it is
exactly.
not 10%. It is much lower than that at the beginning of them starting to basic attack or one you. So that is very unlucky for you.
I mean, that's just me, you know.
Yes.
If there's a Janus snap, I'm gonna get hit. If it's a low crit chance, I'm gonna get crit struck.
Yes.
And there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, no, not trolling. I do think this is a good way to take care of the issues that some characters have. With Janus, it's just always felt weird. Janus is kind of like a Chronos sometimes, where you just need so many different items that do so many different things.
Yep.
And this kind of helps him build in a way that's more comfortable to players, which I think is good. The Surcat one is a little scary to me, just because having crit chance is kind of like not taking a step back, but it's kind of going in a different direction than Smite normally tends to, with taking all the crit chance off of passives and abilities before.
Yes.
And now adding it back, which I don't really think is a bad thing. It's just kind of like doing something different that we haven't been doing previously.
Yes.
But I think that's fine. Surcat has literally been a dead character all year, and anything to help out Surcat is fine, as long as she doesn't turn into the tank Surcat unkillable full CDR nonsense we've seen before. That's the least fun Surcat to play against. Full damage Surcat is fun to play against. Full tank Surcat is so annoying.
So annoying, and hopefully does not happen. Definitely not the hope that we have. Yeah, I have seen a lot of discussion about that, like early crit chance removal previously, and why are we adding it back here? I do think there are some pretty notable reasons why this does make sense and does not heavily conflict with our previous ideas, though of course we are that was years ago. Things are allowed to change
Really?
in a long period of time. Surcat, this in particular, not having it for the early levels, levels 1 through 5, is pretty important. Getting crit level 1, 2 was a really big deal by things like Hunbats, Artemis, like those types of things. It is, level 6 is very early, but is not as early as those early waves where it can be even more swingy. And the other thing is that crit as a system has changed since those things happened. Those used to be just straight numbers. Now it is the progression of 10% crit is not really 10%. Your first auto is, 3%, then 6%, then 9%, then 12%, increasing until you crit a target. So low crit chance early, and it does less damage than it used to. So it is less risky because it will happen less often. It's just about giving her more consistency if she does build that 1 to 2 crit items and that kind of stuff. Barry, what were you going to say?
There has to be something with getting crit and going to your brain, because I was always dead in that situation earlier today when I got crit by level 6 Surcat. But some reason that stuck in my mind, and it's just there's something about getting crit, dude. It affects your brain.
Like, I really wonder if we made the number smaller because the number gets bigger. I wonder if we made the number smaller, if people would get less frustrated. And I'm going to legitimately bring that up. Because it actually might work.
And now people would just be like, "Oh, I can't tell when I'm getting crit versus normal auto attack anymore."
Yes, people will be mad about that. You're right. Giannis, I'm very excited about. Think that god has always heavily struggled at killing tanks. This does not make him a great tank killer by any means, but it means that he doesn't feel completely worthless against tanks. It allows him to build Soul Gem and that kind of stuff without a cost. being as detrimental to the rest of his build. All mage players ever saying, who cares if it has a cost, Soul Gem is so good, I'm going to build it no matter what, and me desperately begging them to buy Pen. Now Giannis he has an excuse, you know?
Yep, exactly.
He's got an excuse. Okay, let's talk real quickly about SPL this weekend before we get to the random question of the week. 2 games Friday. You guys kick off the regular season up against the Atlantis Leviathans, and then you go up against the Eldritch Hounds on Saturday. Obviously, I'm going to be looking.
Sunday.
No, I've on the SPL website we've got it's got you on Saturday. Wow.
Oh, it is.
You just witnessed me saving the Highland Ravens. I've done it, everyone. I saved the Ravens.
I would not have been there on Saturday.
That is very funny. Overall, some of the I don't want to go, we don't have time to go game by game or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But very excited to see the SPL return. I think that the teams I'm going to be watching the most closely are the Oni Warriors. Definitely looking to see if they can expand upon their momentum from winning the SPL kickoff tournament. I'm also going to be looking at the Styx Ferrymen. I think they did not perform to the level that I was expecting, as I had them winning the kickoff tournament. So excited to see how they do and how you guys do, because as you mentioned, wasn't your best showing there. So some of the teams that I think that underperformed at that kickoff tournament, and then the Warriors, who really surprised a lot of people, and then also, of course, the Gladiators and the Hounds as their first SPL games, as they were not. They were. Oh wait, did they play in the? No, they played in the kickoff tournament, didn't they? I'm trolling. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm trolling. Yeah, those are the teams I'm looking out for. Barry, any games stick out to you that you're particularly excited for? Of course.
What are the sets? I haven't looked at the sets besides ours. Honestly.
Oh boy, okay. It's you versus Leviathans, then Kings Dragons, then Saturday is Ferrymen Glads, then Hounds Ravens, Warriors Leviathans, and then Sunday is Warriors Hounds, Kings Ferrymen, Dragons Gladiators.
I would say Ferryman Glads, I think, is a good heat check for Ferryman to see if they have gotten better. Because on paper, they should be beating a team like Glads, but if they're not. And also, I think Warriors Hounds would be a good matchup. I think you said that was on Sunday.
Yes.
Just seeing how both teams play, I think, will also be a heat check for the Warriors. So, double heat check, in my opinion. And then they do get to watch... Wait, Hounds don't play on Friday, do they?
They do not.
Bro!
Hounds get to watch you play.
Who does these schedules? This is so unfair.
So unfair for you. You guys get to be the super hype set to kick off the year. That's very unfair.
Me versus Steve, of course.
Yep. Classic.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Nope.
Wait, Shinto's going to be playing, right?
I haven't heard otherwise.
Okay, I would assume Shinto's going to be playing. I don't know if he's in studios or what's going on with the whole visa situation and all that jazz, but hopefully he's in studio. Hopefully he gets here soon if he's not already.
Yeah, absolutely no clue from me.
Yeah, no idea either.
No idea.
Shut up, Coast.
That's how we're going to end that segment. All right, let's head on over and get our random questions. Go ahead.
Coast got hard camped by an Athena and Thor today. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow.
We were having some nice 1v1s.
How dare he?
Then Coach just gets hard camped by his duo lane, or his trio lane, basically.
Yeah, more or less.
What am I supposed to do?
Coach says keep that energy on Saturday. So that grudge match is in the works already. It's good. It's gonna be good stuff.
I hate Coast. I hate that guy.
Well, you don't hate toast, that's for sure, because that's bread.
100%.
And we know that is definitely not your...
I'll be bringing that to the studios.
That's right, as you always do. It's time for the random question of the week, brought to you by our Patreon Discord. If you want to support us directly on the show, patreon.com/backliners is the place to go. Mm-hmm. And if you do go to patreon.com/backliners, we might end up calling you by the name of our other sponsor for this episode, Honey. We go into the Discord, we say, hey, honey, and that just means everyone. I have allergy brain. Today's episode is sponsored by PayPal Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. If you haven't used Honey, you're trolling. It is
definitely
unbelievably easy. Barry is a notorious coupon clipper. He loves to use coupons. Do you say coupon or coupon? Coupon. Okay.
Yep. I don't know the correct way to say it, but I say coupon.
I feel like I used to say coupon, and then someone made fun of me, and then I got peer pressure into saying coupon. But that doesn't feel right.
The coupon sounds too much like crouton.
Oh, now I'm hungry. Honey is the free shopping tool. You don't need coupons, or croutons after you use Honey, because it's the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. All you got to do is install Honey, and then when you're shopping, you got the little Honey symbol in the top right corner of your browser. You click that, you wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons, and croutons it can find for that site, and if it finds one, you'll watch the prices drop. Barra,
hello.
Last time you tossed out an unbelievable number for your Honey savings. Do you remember what it could? You got that for us here. How much have you saved with Honey?
It was 600.
600.
Yep.
600 large ones. Dollars, not croutons, not large croutons. I'm really stuck on those now. Do you ever just eat croutons like out of the bag? Because I do.
No. Well,
they're good snacks.
If we had them, I would, but I'd be scared of like them like shattering my teeth or like pushing my gums up, because those things are like, some of them are really hard. Yeah,
you can't get the really hard ones if you're trying to snack on them, that's for sure.
Yeah, those are trying to break your teeth. Those things are like rocks.
Yeah, so you got to do some research on what the right type of snacking crouton is, and then you don't need a coupon to get the croutons. You just need Honey. You can get it on whatever it is that you're shopping, wherever you're shopping. It'll be nice and easy to use. So here's the other big thing. It doesn't just work on desktop. It works on your iPhone too. All you have to do is activate it on Safari on your phone, and you get to save on the go. So if you don't already have Honey, this is what it says. It says word for word. I'm going to deviate a little bit from the script here. It says you could be straight up missing out. You are straight up missing out, okay, with Honey. That's the reality.
So easy.
And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show, which is true. Get PayPal Honey for free at joinhoney.com/backliners. That's joinhoney.com/backliners. Again, a great way to support the show is by interacting with our wonderful sponsors. For this week, it is Honey and Factor Meals, which is awesome. Thank you to them, of course.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, we did those last week. Again, getting these from our Patreon Discord. Hiru asked, would you rather... Oh, wait, no, we did that. I almost got us into Jurassic Park versus Jumanji again. That was almost very, very dangerous.
That was
terrible. Neon asked, if you were in a zombie apocalypse, what would you do to survive, and how long do you think you would survive? I feel like Neon is trolling us here a little bit. Don't you?
Yeah, because he should know us by now that
we're dying.
We're dying very quickly. Especially like if I wake up tomorrow morning, right? It's like 8 or 9 a.m. I'm walking out of my bedroom, and there's a zombie like banging on like my bathroom window or something. I'm accepting death relatively soon.
Yeah.
I'm not going into fight or flight. I'm not gonna like.
Well, in some way you are. You're choosing one. It's just a quick decision.
It's fight or flight or death.
In a quick flight, if you will.
Yeah, we will not. I mean, I think I would like make a small attempt, but I would definitely like. It would be like probably within the week that I would die.
Yeah, I think you're. I was gonna ask about your timeline. I think as soon as I really felt like it wasn't going to get any better, I'm out. I'm not doing it anymore. Because I just don't want to get in a situation where I was holding out and then all of a sudden my house gets stormed by zombies. And what? I'm going to watch my wife and dog get eaten by zombies? Pass! I'm not doing it, That doesn't sound... Eat me first? I don't want to get eaten. That sounds terrible, but that's better than like the alternative of getting partially eaten and like I'm
True.
throwing up, like I'm not doing it. It's not happening. So
We would join the zombie revolution.
Yes, we would join the zombie revolution for sure. We'd be kind of trendsetters in that way for sure. Neon did confirm that he's trolling us, and I do respect that. He does have a second question here. If you could have any fictional animal as a pet, what would it be?
Honestly, probably like a Pokemon.
That's a great. Yeah, it's got to be that.
I would probably just want like a Squirtle because I always like Squirtles from like the beginning of time, and
you give it sunglasses, right? Like,
of course,
it'd be a little Squirtle squad. Yeah,
and I would want like a cuter Pokemon than like a take over the world kind of Pokemon. Just something that like hangs out with me during the day and just like does like cool tricks or something. But yeah, I think having a Squirtle would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Do you think Squirtles would be like a dog or a cat? Where like dogs like they're just gonna do whatever they can do to make you happy, and they'll do some dumb stuff that like makes you annoyed or whatever, but like that's kind of their deal. Cats are like, I'm here to make me happy, and if that's you at this time, that's good with me. And if it's clawing the crap out of you at this time, that's cool with me too.
It'd be a dog for sure.
You think Squirtles would be dogs? We should go through the entire Pokemon original generation of Pokemon and determine if it's a dog or a cat for all of them.
Charmander would be a cat
dog
for sure.
No, what, are you crazy? Charmander would absolutely be a dog.
What? That thing's literally on
And here's why. That thing is dumb, right? Charmanders are not smart. There's no way.
What?
There's no way that a Charmander is smart. And if it's dumb, it's a dog. Like, that's pretty free, right? Because cats are smart.
Measure its IQ.
Look at it. It's lollipop looking ass. Its head is huge. It can't even walk right.
Bro.
What do you mean? There's no way a Charmander's smart enough to be a cat. That's the thing.
Wait, so what would be a Bulbasaur?
A Bulbasaur is a dog for sure. Bulbasaur is definitely a dog.
They're all dogs.
No.
Wait, you think a squirrel's a cat?
No, I think Squirtle's probably a dog. A lot of the the like lower level Pokemon are probably going to be dogs because they look kind of goofy, and dogs are goofier than cats. But like I could see, no way.
Cats are very stupid, by the way.
Yeah, I do believe that, but they're stupid in a different way, right? They aren't stupid like run into the wall because you forgot because you got so excited you forgot it was there. Stupid,
Luna did run to the vacuum cleaner today.
Okay, that's a strong counterpoint, and I do see it.
She was very embarrassed and ran down the hallway afterward.
Yeah. Dragonite is a great example of a dog. Dragonite is absolutely a dog. That thing is dumb. All right, that's easy. There are definitely cats don't have to just be like mean and cold. They can be nice and be cats. But like for example, this doesn't make any sense, but Dratini and Dragonair are both cats. But Dragonite is a dog. And that's why Dragonite is one of my least favorite Pokemon because it's a total break from both of the first two Pokemon in its evolution chain.
Yeah, it does look very goofy. Almost like a children's show kind of. I mean,
it looks like Barney.
Literally I'm glad you backed me up on that.
Yeah, it looks like Barney.
Not great.
No, it does. Absolutely. Snorlax is a cat. Snorlax is absolutely a cat. There's no world in which...
Snorlax is an older cat.
Yes, Snorlax is a very old cat. I'm telling you, this is a genius idea that I've just had. All Pokemon are either dogs or cats, and I would want a dog Pokemon for sure. I don't know. Having an Arcanine would just be sweet. That is maybe taking the dog Pokemon a little too literally, but like Arcanine is just one of the coolest Pokemon. And I would definitely want one. It would also be sick to have a Spren from the Stormlight Archives. Those having a Spren would be sweet, but that is less widely applicable.
I have no idea what that is.
Jinx is definitely a cat.
Yep, 100%.
There's no question to me. that Jinx is a cat. Mr. Mime is also a cat.
Yep.
I wonder how many we would disagree on.
A cat that like harasses you.
Yeah. This is what we need a non-Smite podcast for, is for just these types of things. I could literally go down the whole list and do a 2-hour podcast on this.
No, now that I'm looking at Charmander, I agree with you.
He's a goofy little guy.
No, he has like puppy energy for sure.
Yes.
100%.
Charmander is absolutely running around in a circle chasing his fire tail. You know?
100%. Yeah.
And it's stupid. Very cute. Yeah, Eevee is a dog, but the evolutions vary. Yeah, that's a good chat right there. That's a good message in the chat. Okay, that'll do it for us on this week's podcast. Go ahead.
I think Bulbasaur has cat energy.
No.
Kind of.
I don't think Bulbasaur does. I think Bulbasaur is a dog. I think Venusaur is absolutely a dog. I could see Ivysaur being a cat.
That's fair.
But Venusaur is like it's like the Mastiff, you know? It's like the dog that like is really old and its jowls are like really droopy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how is it even walking? That's Venusaur.
Yeah. That's like a 200-pound dog.
Yep.
For sure.
100%. And a good one at that. Blastoise might be a cat. Is Blastoise a dog? Maybe Blastoise is a dog. Yeah, I think Blastoise is a dog.
Yeah, Blastoise is a dog.
I don't know. I can see a little cat energy there.
Yeah, but kind of like a big cat. Like a lion type of cat.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually... Shocking Shield says that the whole line is a cat. I think they might be right. I think Squirtle's actually a cat. But like a kitten. What? Like a really cute one. That's like fun. And acts kind of dog-like, but is distinctly a cat.
What do you mean?
Really? You don't think... You couldn't see Squirtle being kind of like a kitten?
You sounded so genuine with that.
I mean it. I could really see it. Do you think that I could break down the entire universe into dog versus cat? I would want to rate everything as either a dog or a cat, I think, for the rest of my life.
I think both of us would be dogs.
Oh, I'm definitely a dog. For sure. You're definitely a dog. We've talked about this. We are both definitely dogs.
Okay, good.
We definitely had a podcast question a long time ago. Like maybe one of the first random questions of the week was like, what type of animal are we? And we both said dogs. What? And
Chat said you're a cat, and then Chat also said I'm a cat.
There is no shot I'm a cat.
There's no shot I'm a cat either.
Okay, everyone just thinks because I'm very opinionated that makes me a cat. And that's not true. I'm just a picky dog. Like, have you ever had a dog that like won't eat a certain food? Like my old golden retriever, Buster, shout outs, you'd give him a bunch of food and then you'd give him a piece of lettuce and he would just like, he would take it in his mouth and he would just like, bleh, just like let it slowly fall out. That's what he did. That's what dogs can do that. You know, that's just me.
I can see that. Yeah.
I think you're a dog.
Loyal, but very picky. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I don't like everyone calling me cats. I'm ending the podcast. All right, cats are great, but I'm a dog. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy the SPL this weekend. Until then, check out predictions of their shows. Big shout out to Factor and to Honey. And if you want to support us, the best way to do that is by interacting with our sponsors or by going over to patreon.com/backliners and supporting us there. So until next week, Barra, good luck this weekend, and you know what to do.
Bye.
Nice. Okay, we're back on track. We needed a clean one there, I think.
I'm not a cat. I'm not a cat. Stop it, chat. I'm not a cat. I'm a dog.